Again, everyone. So, this video is for chapter 10, the lobster quadrille. The mock turtle sighed deeply and drew the back of one flipper across his eyes. He looked at Alice and tried to speak, but for a minute or two sobs coaxed his voice, same as if he had a bone in his throat, said the griffin, and it set to work shaking him and punching him in the back. At last the mock turtle recovered his voice, and with tears running down his cheeks, he went on again. You may not have lived much under the sea. I haven't, said Alice. And perhaps you were never even introduced to a lobster. Alice began to say, I once tasted, but checked herself hastily and said, no, never. So you can have no idea what a delightful thing a lobster quadrille is. No, indeed, said Alice. What a sort of a dance is it? Why, said the Grimpen, you first run into a line along the seashore. Two lines, cried the mock turtle. Seals, turtles, salmon, and so on. Then, when you have cleared all the jellyfish out of the way, that generally takes some time, interrupted the Griffin. You advance twice. It's with laughter as a partner, cried the Griffin. Of course, the mock turtle said advance twice, said to partners, change lobsters, and retire same order, continued the Griffin. Then you know, the mock turtle went on. You throw the lobster, shouted the Griffin, with a bound into the air. As far out as far out to sea as you can. Swim after them, screamed the Griffin. Turn a somersault in the sea, cried the mock turtle, capering wildly about. Change lobster again, yelled the Griffin at the top of its voice. Back to the land again, and that's all the first figure, said the mock turtle, suddenly dropping his voice, and the two creatures who have been jumping about like mad this all this time sat down again, very sadly and quietly, and looked at Alice. It must be very pretty dance, said Alice timidly. Would you like to see a little of it? Said the mock turtle. Very much indeed, said Alice. Come, let's try the first figure, said the mock turtle to the griffin. We can do it with a laughter, we shall sing. Oh, you sing, said the griffin. I have forgotten the words. So they began solemnly dancing round and round Alice, every now and then treading on her toes when they passed too close and waving their first paws to mark the time while the mock turtle sang this very slowly and slowly. Thank you. It is a very interesting dance to watch, said Alice, feeling very glad that it was over at last. And I do so like the chorus song about the waiting. Oh, as to the waiting, said the mock turtle. Yeah, you have seen them, of course. Yes, said Alice. I have often seen them at Dean. She checked herself hastily. I don't know where Dean may be, said the mock turtle. But if you have seen them so often, of course you know what they are like. I believe so, Alice replied thoughtfully. They have their tails in their mouths and they are all over crumbs. You are you're wrong about the crumbs, said the mock turtle. Crumbs will all wash off in the sea, but they have their tails in their mouths. And the reason is, here the mock turtle yawned and shut his eyes. Tell her about the reason and all that, he said to the griffin. The reason is, said the griffin, that they would go with the lobster to dance, so they got thrown out to sea, so they had to fall a long way, so they got their tails fast in their mouths, so they couldn't get them out again. That's all. Thank you, said Alice. It is very interesting. I never knew so much about wedding before. I can tell you more than if you like, said the Griffin. Do you know why it is called a wedding? I never thought about it, said Alice. Why? It does the boats and shoes, the Griffin replied very solemnly. Alice was thoroughly puzzled. Does the boots and shoes? She repeated in a wondering tone. Why, what are your shoes done with? Said the Griffin. I mean, what makes them so shiny? Alice looked down at them and considered a little before she gave her answer. They are done with blacking, I believe. Boots and shoes under the sea. The Griffin went on in a deep voice. Are done with waiting. Now you know. And what are they made of? Alice asked in a tone of great curiosity. Salts and eels, of course. The Griffin replied rather impatiently, and his arm could have told you that. If I'd been waiting, said Alice, whose thoughts were still running on the song, I'd have said to the purpose, keep back, please. We don't want you with us. They were obliged to have him with them. The mock turtle said, no, no wise fish will go anywhere without a purpose. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it really? Said Alice in a tone of great surprise. Of course not, said the mock turtle. Why, if a fish came to me and told me he was going a journey, I should say with a what purpose? Don't you mean purpose? Said Alice. I mean what I say, the mock turtle replied in an offended tone. And the Griffin added, come, let's hear some of your adventures. I could tell you my adventures beginning from this morning, said Alice a little timidly. But it is no use going back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Explain all that, said the Mock Turtle. No, no, the adventures first, said the Griffin in an impatient tone. Explanation takes such a dreadful time. So Alice began telling them her adventures from the time when she first saw a white rabbit. She was a little nervous about it just at first. The two creatures get so close to her one side and opened their eyes mouths very wide, but she get courage as she went. The listeners were perfectly quiet till she got to the part about her repeating, you are all, Father William to the caterpillar and the woods all coming. The woods all coming different, and then the mock turtle drew a long breath and said, that's very curious. It is all about curious as it can be, said the griffin. It all came different, the mock turtle repeated thoughtfully. I should like to hear her try and repeat something now. Tell her to begin. He looked at the griffin as if he thought it had some kind of authority over Alice. Stand up and repeat. This the voice of the sluggard, said the griffin. How the creators order one about and make one repeat lessons, thought Alice. I might just as well be at school at once. However, she got up and began to repeat it. But her head was so full of the lobster quadrille that she hardly knew what she was saying, and the words came very queer indeed. That's different from what I used to say when I was a child, said the griffin. Well, I never heard it before, said the mock turtle, but it sounds uncommon nonsense. Alice said nothing. She had sat down again with her face in her hands, wondering if anything would ever happen in a natural way again. I should like to have it explained, said the mock turtle. She cannot explain it, said the griffin hastily. Go on with the neck first, but how about his toes? The mock turtle persisted. How could turn them out with his nose? It is the first position in dancing, Alice said, but she was dreadfully puzzled by the whole thing and longed to change the subject. Go on with the next verse, the griffin repeated impatiently. It begins, I passed by his garden. Alice did not dare to disobey, though she felt sure it would all come wrong, and she went on in a trembling voice. I passed by his garden and marked with one eye how the owl and the oyster were sharing a pie. What is the use of repeating all that stuff? The mock turtle interrupted. If you don't explain it as you go on, it is by far the most confusing thing I have ever heard. Yes, I think you better leave off, said the griffin, and Alice was only too glad to do so. Shall we try another figure of the lobster quadrille? The griffin went on. Or, well, would you like the mock turtle to sing you a song? Oh, a song, please. If the mock turtle will be so kind, Alice replied, so eagerly that the griffin said in a rather offended tone, no accounting for taste. Sing her turtle soup. Will you, old fellow? The mock turtle sighed deeply and began in a voice sometimes caught with sobs to sing this. Course again, cried and the griffin, and the mock turtle had just begun to repeat it when a cry, the trials beginning, was heard in the distance. Come on, cried the griffin, and taking Alice by the hand, it hurried off without waiting for the end of the song. What trial is it? Alice panted as he ran, but the griffin only answered, "Come on, and run the faster," while more and more faintly came, carried on the breeze that followed them, melancholy words. So that's all for the chapter 10. We move to the chapter 11 in the next video. So see you. Thank you for watching.